What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with another Bracketology video. As always, for college basketball, I have my guy Ty joining me here. But before we dive into our brackets, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below, where we will be doing that giveaway at 500 subscribers. And all you have to do to be entered into that is just be a subscriber to our channel. But Ty, I will let you take over here as we look at your bracket.
Yeah, you're gonna see some wacky picks here, but I think once everyone else is doing their own bracket, they'll see that they're gonna have that too because it's just a wide open year. There's gonna be a lot of crazy things going on, but we'll start with some first round upsets. I have Oral Roberts up here in the top, beating San Diego State. I don't even know if that's an upset because to be honest, if those two teams do play, Oral Roberts might be favored in Vegas because they are very good and have some guys returning from that 15 seeded team that made a run 2 years ago. So I have to go with that pick because there's always a 12 over 5. I have Utah Valley over here in the top right, upsetting number 4 seed Xavier. Xavier losing Fremantle. I mean, you got to pick a couple upsets. That just seems like one that stands out for me since they're a little shorthanded. And then I have Marquette losing in the first round. So this is one where I obviously think Marquette will beat Colgate, but I have Kentucky beating Marquette. So why not just take a flyer there if I have them losing early anyway? So I'm going with Colgate. They've been close to pulling upsets the last 2 years, so I'm going with them to upset Marquette there. And then in the second round, my big upsets, I got Michigan State upsetting the second seed Kansas State. And I think Michigan State's guards are going to be really good in March. Because usually it's the teams with the guards that make deep runs in the tournament. Michigan State's got three really good guards. And obviously we're Michigan fans, so I'm
Mhm.
actually biased against Michigan State, but I still think they're kind of heating up at the right time. And Kansas State, they've had a great story this season, but I don't know if that's going to quite continue into March. So I think there'll be an early exit there. And then I have Creighton beating Tennessee, Tennessee losing their point guard, Zakai Ziegler, to a torn ACL. I think that's a huge blow to them. So I think they go down early as well. And they lose early every year. So that wouldn't be anything too different if that happens again. Then moving on, well, we also have a couple upsets here on the other side, 11 over 3. That's Mississippi State I have beating Northwestern and Arizona. And then I have Auburn beating Iowa State and Gonzaga. Auburn is a team that is very hit or miss this year, but we've seen them make a run to the Final Four and lose to Virginia on a very questionable call 3 years ago. So I think if they can get some March magic going again this year, they could make a little run. And that's what I have here. In the Sweet 16, I have Alabama going down to Indiana. I think there's a lot of distractions still going on with Alabama. So I think that could definitely play a factor in March. I think Indiana is going to be fully healthy, you would think, come tournament time. So I think they'll be much better than a 4 seed. And I think they win that. And also in that same region, I have Kentucky upsetting Texas. Kentucky kind of reminds me of the team, I think it was 2014 when they went all the way to the national championship as an 8 seed, because all the freshmen started playing like sophomores and juniors. And you're kind of seeing that this year with Kentucky. So I think they'll make a little run. And I think Kentucky actually goes all the way to the Final Four. I think they beat Indiana in the Elite Eight, get to the Final Four. And then another lower seed, I have Michigan State beating Creighton. And then it's very hard to beat a team 3 times. Purdue's already beat Michigan State twice. I'm taking Michigan State to go all the way to the Final Four. As much as that would pain me, I just think this is a very favorable draw for Michigan State if it comes out that way. But on the other side, mostly chalk all the way to the Final Four, although I do have Baylor, the 2 seed, beating Houston, who's the 1 seed there. But I think that would be a really good matchup. But I think the experience of Baylor and Houston's just not, it's not their fault, but they haven't had a very tough schedule since, late December. So I think that could come back to bite them like we see with Gonzaga every year. But in the Final Four, unfortunately, you get the 1 and 2 seed playing and then the 6 and 7 seed. That's how it would work out. I think Kentucky scrapes past Michigan State, and I think Kansas wins the rubber match over Baylor to set up a Kansas-Kentucky national championship, something no one would have thought would happen, probably a month ago. But I'm going with Kansas to repeat this year, as hard as that is to do. I think they are looking like the best team in the country right now. But, this year could go a lot of different ways, so who knows?
And then moving over to my bracket, we have Alabama starting as the top seed, as always, in the top left. And then we'll move over. We'll do it your way. I'm going with Oral Roberts in an upset over San Diego State. They also lost last night to Boise State. So this team, was getting hot at the right time, but then suffered a tough loss. I'm going with your national championship game appearance. Kentucky going down in the first round to, I'm gonna say, Arizona State. This team, Arizona State, they're a team that is flying way under the radar if they sneak in there. We saw them earlier in the year catch fire and then have really cooled off since then. But if they can find that, then they could make a run possibly. Nothing really else crazy in the first round upsets over there. And then in the East region, nothing crazy. Yale is upsetting UConn. I think every year the Ivy League representative plays whoever they're playing. Super tough till the last minute of the game. And it always seems like it's going to be a close game. And I think this is the year that they are finally going to get that upset. It's been a while. It's been a long time brewing, and UConn is a great team to play for that upset just because what we've seen from them being so inconsistent. And then moving over to the right side of the bracket, the top right for upsets, nothing really too crazy. Don't really have an upset in the top right, but the bottom, I have Auburn as well beating Iowa State. I don't think Iowa State is going to be that 6 seed the next time the new bracketology comes out because they have been very bad. There's nothing really else crazy that I have in the first round for upsets. Second round, I don't really have anything in the left side either. I just kind of see all chalk how I'm at least thinking how it's going to play out. And then for the right side, I'm going to go a little bit off script. I think TCU is going to be fully healthy at this time and get a win to move to the Sweet 16. Arizona, they're looking really good as a 3 seed. I think they could be a sleeper 3 seed. They could make a run. Providence, they're doing pretty good, but I don't think they'll get past Baylor. And then moving to the right, I have St. Mary's actually beating Virginia. So that's a mini upset. The Gales just seem like they need to play someone other than their conference to escape the drought and to really move to a Sweet 16, which we haven't seen them do in a while. And then finish it out, I have UCLA beating Maryland, in which I think will be a very good 2 versus 7 matchup in a game that will fly under the radar, more than likely because it'll be one of the later games with UCLA playing. But we'll move to the Sweet 16 in the top left. I have Indiana as well beating Alabama. As you said, lots going on in that program for Bama. And Indiana, did suffer a 20-point loss last night. At least it felt like against Iowa, but I think they'll bounce back just in time. Marquette upsets Texas as well to move to the Elite Eight. And then I think that Purdue-Miami game could go either way. I'm high on the Hurricanes right now. I'm going to take the safe pick with Purdue just because of Zach Edey and his size. But don't be too surprised if those guards of Miami take over that game and get a win. And then I have Tennessee beating Kansas State in a mini upset as well. But we'll move to the right. Houston, Arizona, nothing really too crazy there. Kansas and UCLA, nothing really too crazy there. And then we'll move to the final four picks. I have Marquette beating Indiana, Purdue beating Tennessee, Arizona beating Houston in an upset, and then UCLA beating the defending champs in the Elite Eight to get to the final four. So I have Marquette and UCLA in the championship. And I think the Marquette one, I said it in our rankings video this week that Marquette could be that flyer team that really goes under the radar, that not too many people are picking to make a Final Four appearance, but could easily do it. And if Alabama gets knocked out of that bracket, I think that one is completely wide open because you have, I would say, 1 through even 6 or 7 really with Duke that could really make a run in that bracket just because of, the experience of those teams and the coaching and whatnot. But I do have UCLA coming out on top. I think this is the year where they finally break through and come away with a championship after, all these expectations the last few years, not living up to them. And then this year, it seems like they're still not getting enough credit. Obviously, last week they came out and said that they were displeased with their initial rankings a month before the tournament. and the official bracket got released as a 2 seed, and they've done everything in my mind to become a 1 seed. So maybe next week when the conference tournaments are played and a few teams lose and they maybe go win the Pac-12, then I think that might change a few voters' minds. But I have the Bruins winning it all this year. And that's going to be it for our video this week. Make sure you guys come back before March Madness starts. We're going to have our official bracket revealed and our official picks. And don't forget to join our group as well. We are going to have another group where we will be giving away some prizes if you can beat Ty and I both this year. But until the next video, the bench biddies are out.
She never called back.